Was a corrections officer for quite some years, and he's had some experiences while he was working his tour. So, being that I have some experience with institutions like that as well in my past, but from the other side, I thought it would be an interesting panel for us to discuss what it is that a corrections officer goes through and how he navigates in an environment like that, whereas in it's bread and butter, but there's a lot of issues that I guess he'll get into. Let's talk about it, man.
Well, basically, being a correctional officer, as everybody might know or don't know, it's not an easy job, first of all. I mean, you're dealing with people who have been incarcerated for various crimes committed. And so the whole mindset, there's a lot of cops who say they would never work in a prison environment. So that goes to say a lot. As a correctional officer, we're responsible for the livelihood of not just officers and staff, but also inmates. So we have a huge responsibility on us. Me personally, I looked at every inmate as an individual, no matter their race. And that relationship evolved into a respect. More than anything, as Mac, you can comment on, is all about respect. Not just outside, but inside those walls, is all about respect. So during my tenure as a correctional officer, I can proudly say that I garnered that respect from all different races, and that is what has made me proud to be able to stand on here, sit up here, and say that.
From your perspective of working in corrections and having to work with basically the worst of the worst of society, and having to discern whether or not this man is a good person despite his crime or not, must have been a hard decision or a hard process for you to make. And the reason why I say that is because as I reflect, I can see officers who were detached from the inmates, prisoners, or whatever you want to call them, and had to have this stoic approach to their function so as not to be so personal or personable with the inmate or prisoners. So how was it on the other side, where you're able to make these decisions based upon your humanity and also keeping it professional, et cetera, et cetera? Run that down to me, man.
I looked at, when I joined the department, it's a saying, they say you're going to change. Everybody's going to change. And I have to admit, you will change. You have to, because you're dealing with the worst of the worst. Let's keep it real. So you're watching your back. Your head is on a swivel 24/7. However, me being the godly man that I am, I'm not to judge anybody. I've told you, Mac, in conversations, I've told inmates, when I was working, I'm now retired, that I could be you and you could be me. It's just that I made a different choice in life, and by the grace of God, I didn't end up on the other side. Right. So saying that, that's where the respect came in. I treated everybody like a man, like a human being. And I got the responses back that, hey, they would say, Jones, we appreciate you treating us like men, like human beings. And so I connected on a whole nother level. I can't speak for other officers on their approach. All I can speak for is me. And I'm not perfect. I'm a sinner. All have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. You know how I get down. I mean, I love the Lord. I'm a godly man, but I'm a sinner. Mm-hmm. So who am I to judge anybody? Now, if you had something coming, whether good or bad, you got it. Right. So I didn't hold any reservations, when it came to that. I did my job and I did it well.
And, as I reflect about that whole structure and corrections as an institution, I reflect back and I see that, that there is a place in society for criminals. And there is a place in society for people to police those criminals. And in prison, you'll see the scourges of the earth. I'm talking about the lowest of the low.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if in my heart I can look at every individual in prison as a human being, because some individuals have done some horrific things that I don't even want to discuss on my show. However, there just had to be a mechanism within you that you could turn off and on or whatever, and helps you to deal with those, situations without being judgmental.
That's an excellent question, Mac. Yeah, it's not an easy thing to do. I mean, people from all walks of life, all crimes committed, you think whatever you can think of, they were there. How did I deal with it? Me personally, I had a rule. I didn't read what they call a C-file. A C-file is what an inmate has been incarcerated for. I tried not to the best of my ability, I tried not to read what they had done. Because no matter who you are, that is going to alter your thinking. And what we have in prison, we have porters. Porters are inmates who work for you. So I had porters that worked for me, and very respectful. And I tried to just keep it that way because I didn't, as long as I didn't feel threatened, which I never felt threatened, praise God. So I never had a urging to read about what that inmate did. I just didn't. Most officers would sit at their desk and they would, go into the computer and say, he did this or that person. I didn't want to hear that. And everybody who worked with me knew I didn't want to hear that. I judged them on what they did right there and right here. I don't read a book by its cover. And that's the way I was able to, maintain a working relationship, a respectful relationship with, as far as inmate, correctional officer relations.
Right. The authority figure in you had at some point said, you know what, I want to know exactly who it is that I'm securing in these bars. No type of inclination of trying to, understand who these people are because they come from a world so far apart from yours?
Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I knew what type of inmates I had in my building.
Right.
Okay, you have to know that. And me being the officer that I was, I knew who I was dealing with. Right. However, there was still a line that I drew, because like I said, me knowing me, if I had read a C-file and some inmate had committed some, horrendous crime that, is just unthinkable, because you have a family, you have children, you have a family, So I tried to just, like I said, I tried to not get into that unless I had to. And because my judgment would have been swayed. Say I have a good porter. He's a hard worker, never gave me no problems. And then all of a sudden I read what he did. Come on, I'm human. I'm going to look at him differently.
Right.
I am. So we have to be real with that.
Right.
And that's what I never wanted to do. And I can say I never really got into that realm. Unless I had to. And there was times where, of course, I found out, through people just talking and did it sway my judgment? I could say right now it didn't, but it has an effect on you when you know what somebody did. If we're going to talk, penitentiary, let's be real with this.